about Colombia and our expansion of sales today. So, as we begin, Nick and Will are going to pass out some handouts for y'all so you can follow along just in case you don't want to look up here at us. That's fine. Clear my feelings. Okay. So, when someone refers to Colombia, what is the first thing you guys think of?
Pablo Escobar.
Okay. Anybody else? There's no wrong answers. I know you think of something.
Okay.
Okay.
Cocaine.
I didn't want to say
Yes,
it.
cocaine. Right, so cocaine, like the war on drugs, maybe like gangs, violence, all that bad kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, it does have a negative reputation, but there are things being done to get or to do away with that. With the recent increase in its economy over the past few years, Colombia has actively attempted to move forward as a country by improving their overall quality of life. So, cocaine levels have significantly decreased, and people can argue with that by saying that they're like the same basically, but they're wrong because as you have to look at this, the statistics, as the people, the population increases, they're gonna say that cocaine levels have risen, but it's incorrect because you have to look at the amount of people compared to the consumption. There you go. All right, so this proposal is for Earthsmart Foods to expand our business market into Colombia, specifically Cartagena. During this presentation, we will be discussing Cartagena's geography, culture, political stability, infrastructure and transportation, and logistics and shipping costs. So, I'm Camry. I'll be talking about political stability. Ryan's going to be talking about our infrastructure and the logistics and shipping costs. Nick's going to be talking about our geography. Will's going to be talking about our culture, and Eric's going to be talking about our infrastructure and transportation. So I'm going to let Nick start us off with the geography of Cartagena.
Thank you very much, Karen. Next slide, please, Karen. Thank you. So where we're going, this is just a basic picture of Cartagena. As you can tell, it's located on the coast. It is on the Caribbean coast, which is 1,000 miles of the 1,800-mile total coastline of Colombia. And as to where Colombia exactly is, it is located at the top of South America, just below Panama. And as you can tell by this picture, sorry, God, I wasn't supposed to go on here, but vast coastline, like I said, and when we were looking at the internal geography, the mountains cause a big problem with distribution, but luckily for us, there's a large river system called the Magdalena that interconnects most of the country's regions, which include Cartagena through a canal. So when looking at numbers, exact numbers that is, Colombia as a country has 50 million nearly population, and then 688 billion for the GDP, and has a projected growth of 3.1%, while Cartagena holds just over 1 million people, and it is the largest port city on the Caribbean, and it is also one of the largest destinations for tourists. So all of this came into factor when we were looking for where to go in Colombia. And so at this time, I'm going to pass it to Will so he can tell you about the culture and some of the things we looked at.
So when deciding to go to Colombia, we wanted to know more about the culture of Colombia and what they wanted. Because when you're deciding to give a product to a new place, you really need to know what they need and what they want. So the government has been implementing a lot of initiatives to make Colombia as a whole more sustainable and more green. They've been doing this by implementing more parks and promoting health among all of the Colombians there. This strongly follows the values we hold here at Earthsmart Foods, and we believe that the people who are supporting the initiatives within the country will connect well with what we hold in our company. So when considering marketing in the country, we saw that soccer is the primary community event that ties all the community members together. And we feel starting at a basis of marketing towards youth club teams, which are constantly looking for financial backing, we'll be able to reach out and get our brand name out to multiple people there, as well as working our way into venues and marketing our products within the venues. And we feel like this will connect well because these are people who are obviously caring about their health and they care about the earth as well. So then we get into diet, and Colombians throughout the day typically eat 3 meals, and they're rather light meals, and the rest of the day consists of snacking. So we feel that our bars will be able to add an additional nutritional supplement for those who are looking for those, as well as in ingredients within our products are peanuts, which peanuts has been proven to be one of the most consumed nuts within the country. And we feel that if we were able to offer alternatives to these flavors and add in dried fruits, which is also consumed largely within Colombia, that they will follow along with that well and connect to it. So language in Cartagena it's mainly Spanish. However, with tourism, English is largely prominent as well. Also in the schooling systems, lots of initiatives have been put in place to where a lot of the Colombian students are being taught English. And this ties into monolingualism, which is the combination of two languages. Within Colombia, when we were doing our research, we found that a lot of the Colombians didn't just speak Spanish or just speak English. They were combining the two languages together. And we feel that this will support our company well, seeing that we're an American company who largely is focused around English. And when marketing, we feel that if we implement this monolingualism into our brand, we will be able to draw more attention and attract more people to our products. And now I'm going to pass it to Camry to talk about political stability.
Political stability. So, increasing tourism allows Earthsmart Foods the advantage of expanding our sales and introducing our product to a larger population. So that's all pluses. The more people who are expanding the population in Cartagena, Colombia, the more sales that we can get, the more brand recognition, the more that we can get our product out there and increase our sales, which is all good. So although gang violence could be a potential issue, the odds of that are very slim to none because of the increase in armed forces that are in Colombia and that are being sent out into Colombia and their success in lessening the violence among the citizens. Also, gangs typically stay within their own very well-known locations. So the tourists, they're also warned on where they should go, where they shouldn't go, where they should stay away from or steer clear from at night. So that's all good news, and they'll know which areas not to enter. So the gang violence is basically out of the picture now that the armed forces are in there taking care of business. So that's decreasing, and our sales are expanding. Oh, on to Derek with infrastructure.
So we're looking at Colombia. I looked into the current state of infrastructure, into the roads, into their seaports, and what they've done to fix it, what they've done to improve it. So while looking at the roads, I looked into, they have started a program called Fourth Generation. And with the current state of Colombia's roads, traveling between cities can take between 6 to 18 hours, whereas flying by plane can take 30 minutes. So Fourth Generation is a plan to take over about 20 years or so. And in this vision, the program's finished, they have about $17 million US dollars to build over 4,400 miles worth of road, 110 new tunnels, and 1,300 viaducts. And out of these 31 projects, which of all those, 21 have been started and 9 are in pre-construction currently. Also, the Colombian government has invested $2.8 billion into the road budget this year, which compared to 2017 to 2.4 billion. Oh, sorry. All right. So seaports, and one of the seaports. For looking at seaports, I've seen that private U.S. companies have invested about $1.5 million US dollars into improvements. Certain improvements that we've seen throughout the seaports have been things like refrigerated cargo, maximum weight. So in 2017, for example, the maximum was 286 million tons, or in 2018 is 444 million tons. And with also looking at infrastructure, I looked at. Next slide, sorry. Here we go. Next, I looked into transportation. So with our headquarters being in Miami, I saw that we could utilize the Caribbean Sea to get to Cartagena, which is one of the newest port cities. This is the port. And we looked at, it takes about 2.5 days from Miami to Cartagena. And then since our product has a shelf life of 6 weeks, that will allow 5.5 to 5 weeks of shelf life from distribution to sales. Additionally, I looked at things that could maybe impede us help us out. Things like the Colombian trade agreement, which removed tariffs off all U.S. products. And then, as far as what company we're going to use, we are going to work with for our shipping, we're gonna use FedEx. And we had a deal with the Colombian businesses that they'll pay 60% of the free on-board shipping, meaning that they will pay the cost of transportation, insurance, unloading, and transportation to its final destination. And talk more about logistics. I'll pass it on to Kyle.
So for our first step in expanding sales to Cartagena, we decided that the best way and safest way to first expand our sales there is selling Earthsmart food products to department stores and supermarkets. A lot of these stores, they sell U.S. goods, and so that being said, they introduce a lot of new U.S. goods to the public, and which is beneficial for us is if it's a new product, they have a demonstration basis within the facility that they sell the products in, which is kind of like a promotional area, which is good for us because with us being a new product, selling them, it's an easy way for us to promote our goods and to get our name out to the locals. And just for an example, like we said, our headquarters are in Miami, and so we're shipping through freight, which is to the Cartagena ports. And it's convenient because in Cartagena, the ports are right there by the supermarkets and by the department stores, so it's easy transportation to get our goods to those places. And since we're shipping through FedEx, this just to sell one box of goods, it is you can only ship 40 pounds, and that being each snack bar is 1.1175 pounds, which is 340 bars in one box. And the main cost of that is $982.90. But like Eric said, they pay 60% of the shipping cost, and that's just the bare minimum, which is right here in this column. And that leaves us paying 20 to 40% of the rest of the cost, which is in the next column. And that leaves 20% of the profit, which is in the last column. And to keep the profit consistent, we would sell the bars in Cartagena in US dollars, $2.89. Just because the average snack bar there is $2.50 to $3. That's kind of like a mid-range to make sure that the profit is kind of similar to that. And with that information provided, Nick will lead with the conclusion.
We wanted to conclude with our recommendation to the company. So first was introduce our product, which we've covered, and that's starting in Miami and shipping to Cartagena due to that shipping route that Karen just showed you. The second would be establish a fertile market, and by that we mean get into the department stores, which you've already mentioned, to establish that good foundation with the locals, and by having it there with tourists coming in, they would be able to see a product they're familiar with in a local environment. And then the third being match our product to our current nutritional needs for the daily Colombian diet. Luckily for us, fruits, grains, and peanuts and tree nuts are already included in our bars, but for those small deviations, it wouldn't be a huge financial cost to change or add a product to our bar before shipping to these areas. Next slide, please. For the fourth, breaking into sports and large cultural events, which Will touched on. Large volumes of our target market are there. Healthy-minded people getting active, being in sports, looking for a healthy snack. So that's where we're looking to go. And then our last point is investigate expansion in Bogota based on evidence of success in Cartagena. And by that, we researched the agricultural market in Bogota and realized that a lot of the ingredients that we use in these bars can be grown there. And so maybe long-term, look at that option to make our shipping costs even less and be able to ship inside of the country. And that is all for our recommendation. Thank you guys very much for your time, and any questions would be appreciated.